What up, my peoples? It's your boy K9. We going live with it. Absolutely, the dog pound. We got a great show tonight, y'all guys. So stay posted. Don't go nowhere. And get your popcorn. So the show will be starting at 9 o'clock. We got like 1 minute left. 1 minute left.
While Sean going shopping or out for an evening. So let's bow our head in a moment of silence for the victims in El Paso and Dayton. All right, well, let's get on with the show here. I have my co-host already in the queue, Mr. K9 Bundrage, two-time IBF junior middleweight champion, as well as our first guest, Mr. Swyer. First, let's get K9 in here. K9, what's going on tonight?
What's up? What's up, my guy? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. The weather's acting good out here in California, so
Hey,
we're doing fine.
hey, you always rubbing it in because you out there in Cali. But guess what? It's summertime. I'm in Detroit. We doing good too. The winter ain't caught a shit, boy.
Yeah, y'all baking though. Y'all baking. I'm just simmering. I'm good.
No, I don't eat pork.
Uh,
We don't eat
but
pork.
our first guest, K9, in case you haven't heard him before, is a gentleman named Mr. Alan Swyer, and he actually put out a DVD called El Boxo.
Ah, El
El
Boxo.
Boxio. I know I you know did a whole lot of messing up with his name, but I just want to read you some of the cast members here since I'm looking on the cover. Sugar Ray Leonard, Oscar De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., uh, Canelo Alvarez, Chris Wilfredo Vasquez, Victor Ortiz, Jimmy Lennon, and I could probably keep on going on and on here. I mean, the cast is fantastic. So, this is the director, Mr. Alan Swyer. Alan, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Happy to be here.
Thank you for being here, man. Alan, thank you for being here, bro.
If you have Amazon Prime, you can see El Boxeo for free.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And a couple of some other people on there. Since James was talking about boxers from Texas, one of my favorite all-time boxers, Orlando Canizales, is from Laredo, Texas. He and his brother Gabby were both world champs.
Okay.
He's in the film. Al Bernstein, Larry Merchant, a guy named Bob Arum, who you may have heard of.
Hey! I talked to Bob Arum the other day. Yeah, I heard of him. What about Don King? What about Don? You get Don King?
No, Don ducked me, so I said, you're going to give me a hard time. I don't need you.
Oh, man. Hey, Don owed me a favor, so maybe we can get him on.
Too late.
Okay. All right.
Don King is the lion in winter.
I got you. Oh, man. It's all love.
Richard Steele is in the movie, by the way. We got to be fair to referees as well, huh?
Okay.
It was a real lot of fun to do. It's and a lot of it is Southern California. Guys like Bobby Chacon, the Ruelas brothers, who were both champions. Art Frias, who fought the greatest one-round fight of all time against Ray Mancini. Got to be good to my people out here.
Yeah. So now, you've been on our Sunday show, and we kind of talked on there. So this is your first time on the Tuesday show, I believe. And
right,
we had a couple conversations, both before and after Andy Ruiz became the first Mexican American heavyweight champion. And we had a lot of conversations, both publicly and privately, about Chris Arreola.
Right.
And we saw him in action Saturday against the young Mr. Kawanaki. First of all, let's kind of deal with.
And let's state that Chris Arreola is also in El Boxeo. So there we go. It's even more time.
Yeah. One of the things that I talked to Layman about, and I have, we have K9 here too, so maybe you'll chime in on this, but that term gatekeeper. Now, being you've been involved with this sport for quite some time, and I guess in today's modern age, it has a different connotation, because back in the 70s or 80s, even the 90s, I mean, if you had told Layman Brewster or some of those other guys that they were gatekeepers, that was kind of a nasty term.
Oh, that was a
now
put down.
I agree.
Now we see a guy.
I agree.
But now we see a guy that, I mean, Deontay Wilder and Lennox Lewis called him a gatekeeper. A lot of other people called him a gatekeeper.
Crazy.
And after the fight, after the beating, he accepts the term. Yeah, I'm a gatekeeper.
Exactly.
Well, now, hey, he's a well-paid gatekeeper. I will admit that. But Alan, what do you think?
Well, I think you got to give the guy some serious. You got to give him his due. He was a last-minute fill-in. Guys were calling him the Latino butterbean, and you know what? He stepped up, and he hits hard. And sure, he set back the whole notion of training about 50 years. Hard to do your road work when you got a heavyweight champ who looks like that. But he's a tough guy. He's a really nice guy. In contrast to Chris Arreola, whom I like, he's a diligent guy. Chris, why is it that Chris suddenly woke up and got into shape and Chris was represented by his trainer was Henry Ramirez, who's a really nice guy, but he's Chris's buddy, and Chris was his meal ticket. So if Chris didn't want to come to the gym, there was nothing Henry could do. He went with Goosen, and Goosen said, "You get your ass to the gym, or I walk away. I don't need you." Absolutely. And Chris woke up, and sure, he got the L, but he fought. We saw a different Chris. Had we seen that Chris 10 years ago, Andy Ruiz would not be the first heavyweight Mexican or Mexican-American heavyweight champ.
Absolutely.
We have to remember that there was a first Latino heavyweight champ, a guy named John Ruiz, the quiet man.
Yeah.
But, he not a particularly exciting fighter, very nice guy. But Andy, Andy came up the hard way, and what were the odds? Somebody could have made a fortune on that fight. What were the odds on that fight?
Oh, you're right. A lot of people, listen, I ain't going to say a lot of people, but a few people got paid. Just like Buster Douglas. A few people got paid when Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which says, all the pre-fight predictions mean nothing. It's what takes place when you climb into the ring.
Absolutely.
And Andy Ruiz has a strong chin, and the equation scientifically for power is mass times velocity. Well, guess what? He's got very good velocity. He's got a whole lot of mass.
Absolutely. And he has a look that will deceive you.
Absolutely. He's not fast, but he's quick.
Yeah. But
there are certain things in this world. You're born with perfect pitch or you're not. You're born with bat speed or you're not. If you're a pitcher, you're born with the ability to throw hard or you're not. If you're a basketball player, you're born with the ability to jump or you're not.
Right.
And you can improve your jumping ability, but if you're not a jumper, you're not going to be a jumper. No matter how much jumping rope you do, no matter how much running you do, no matter how much time in the gym, you can improve it a little. But there's something called what's in your DNA, and white, black, brown. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We've seen the whole notion of white man can't jump. Well, the greatest rebounder, one of the two greatest rebounders in the history of the NBA, the other being Dennis Rodman. Before Dennis Rodman, there was a guy named Paul Silas who couldn't jump a lick, and man, was he a great rebounder.
Absolutely. Hey, but Alan, I want to go back to the point what you just got through saying. If you saw Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, and you saw Ruiz, Andy Ruiz, and you saw Anthony Joshua, you'd have said that between those two, that Buster Douglas had a way better chance to win than Andy Ruiz. But Andy Ruiz, you look at him and you say, "Oh man, and out in a million years he could beat Anthony Joshua." If you look at both their bodies,
absolutely. But bodies are interesting. I thought Timothy Bradley was a very good fighter. He looked like he should have been a great puncher.
Absolutely.
And you know what? He wasn't.
No.
And then you got other guys who look like, they don't pack much.
That's right.
And they hit hard.
Oh, man. Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns.
Thomas Hearns hit harder.
All you got to do is ask Roberto Duran.
Absolutely. It's one of those things. You're born with it or you're not. Sure, you can add some strength, but there are limitations. And, until he started to fade, Golovkin didn't look like he was going to hit as hard as he did.
Man, boy, that boy can hit so hard. Jonathan Banks, one of my friends and our buddy of the show, he's training Triple G now. And, boy, they say Triple G hit like a mule kick.
Well, he hit even harder before before age started catching up to him.
Yeah. You know what? But the thing about it, though, like they always say, even George Foreman, one thing that never leaves you when you're a puncher is your strength. It's just that it slows down.
Absolutely.
It slows down so you can see it coming now. So it's not as hard because you see it coming.
Sure. Exactly, and like Boom Boom Mancini once said to me, you got to make a miss once in a while.
Exactly, that's true. That's true. Hey, right.
Showing off your chin is a way to get hurt.
Oh my goodness. For real, for real. Hey, I think what's the fighter? It was a fighter that once showed his chin off. He was showboating. James, you tell me, James, get in that little time machine and come on back down to my age and tell me who that guy was that put his head out there, was playing around and got knocked out. Do you know what I'm talking about? Either one of you guys know the guy I'm talking about.
From the way you're talking, I'm thinking about Vinny Paz.
It was a little guy. What's the little guy? It was a little guy. Man, it was a little guy. I could think of him. I could see his face right now, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah, right. Now you. Well, look, a lot of it, showboating is no good, but they're Oscar De La Hoya, when he was ahead on points, danced. Mikey Garcia hurt his career at one point by being ahead on points and dancing. In contrast, if you remember, Sergio Martinez was beating up Chavez Jr., but instead of dancing, he went for the knockout. When you go for the knockout, even though he won the fight, he got hurt.
Yeah.
Right? He got hurt. He was never the same.
Yeah.
He won the fight, but prior to that, because he was a guy who was kind of unorthodox, but a terrific athlete.
Yeah.
And he lost a step when he hurt his leg against Chavez Jr.
Hey, Mildred Taylor was never the same.
Yeah.
Never the same.
It happens. And then, and then the flip side of that is I thought Manny Pacquiao, twice in his career, I thought he was washed up. I was in the second row in Vegas when Marquez knocked him out.
Yeah. And
I thought, this is the end of the sport. He's dead.
Right.
When you're in the second row, you see more than you see on TV, and the guy didn't move. And I thought, oh. And then, again, Manny went through a period after that where, he looked old and tired. And then, we watched 2 weeks ago, Manny came out and looked like Manny again.
Absolutely.
My hope is that he'll retire on top because nobody can continue forever.
Absolutely.
We know that George, the only one who did, was Hopkins, but even he wasn't the same towards the end. The other guy, since you mentioned George Foreman earlier, he took those years off.
Absolutely.
So his body wasn't taking the beating.
There you go. Hey, listen, I'm glad you're on this subject right now because I don't know if you actually know who I am, but the anniversary of my first world title at the age of 37 is tomorrow when I beat Corey Spinks. So I'm the oldest.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm the oldest junior middleweight world champion of all time. So when Manny Pacquiao, they showed him winning the title, they actually showed me on ESPN as one of the oldest junior middleweight world champ of all time. Yeah, so I got something to smile about. And I'm just sharing it to the dog pound. Exactly. Old money still spent.
I keep telling you that. Now that you owe, now that you owe money, now you agree.
Absolutely.
Hey, it's hard to talk. It's hard to talk. It's hard to talk to some of these young whippersnappers sometimes.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking about somebody who's older than you and James and me, I had lunch with my friend Larry Merchant yesterday, and he's turning 89.
Wow.
Now, here's a piece of trivia for you.
Wow.
In the same year, Don King, Larry Merchant, Bob Arum, and Jose Suleiman were all born. What's the likelihood of that?
Wow.
How's that for a trivia question?
Yeah.
Name four guys who had important roles in boxing over a long period of time who were born in the same year. Unfortunately, Jose is not with us anymore, but the other three are all turning 89 this year.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. Hey, so you know what I'm thinking? I'm wondering, is Don King right along with them? Is he about 80-some years old, too? Dang, Larry Merchant, 80-some?
Oh, yeah, no, Don's turning 89. They were all born the same year. King, Arum, wow. Suleiman, and Merchant, all born the same year.
Wow. What about Bob Arum?
Yeah, all four of them turning 89 this year.
Unbelievable.
And the amazing thing is that Aram's still going.
Yeah.
He won't give anybody the satisfaction of seeing him walk away.
Man, oh man. I got stories to tell you about him, but we'll talk about it after the show. they had to pay for that information.
You guys want to hear the nicest thing that Bob Arum ever did?
Oh man, well, yes I do.
You want the nicest thing you ever? You remember a champion named Gennaro Hernandez?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was champ. He got beat by Oscar because they wouldn't postpone the fight, and he was fighting with a broken nose, and he was ahead on points, and then Oscar hit him in the nose, and it was over. But when Gennaro Hernandez was diagnosed with cancer, Arum was never his promoter, but he found out about it and knew that he didn't have good medical coverage, because we know fighters often don't have good medical coverage. He found a place in Texas that treated that kind of cancer, and every time that Gennaro needed a treatment, Arum flew Gennaro, his wife, and a publicist named Bill Kaplan to Texas for the treatment on his dime each and every time.
Oh wow!
So that's pretty stand up. Because pardon me.
I gotta remember that. Bill's a good friend of the show. Actually, Bill and Don Chargan was, along with Emmanuel Stewart, was some of the guys that started me out.
Oh, that's good. Well, Bill, as you know, Bill and Chargan are both in my movie. Bill, Chargan was a very good friend of mine, and Bill is a close friend and a lovely, lovely guy. I mean, and by the way, Gennaro Chicanito Hernandez's brother Rudy is an excellent trainer who trained Gennaro, also trained the time that Mike Alvarado won the championship, which he then drank his way out of the championship. But when you start training in a gin mill instead of at the gym, you're in trouble. But Rudy's, I think, one of the unsung heroes of boxing, because he's a great trainer.
Hey, I wanted to say something. I wanted to go back to what you were saying about Bob Arum, and I believe the second nicest thing he ever did was when he allowed Tim Bradley to walk away with that victory against Manny Pacquiao when he really didn't win.
Yeah.
It made all kinds of millions after that. Man. And then got him a job on ESPN. And if I'm not mistaken, he fought Pacquiao three times.
Yeah, and also he came out with the greatest quote in the history of boxing. You guys know what that quote is?
Tell me.
Okay, I admit it. I lied to you yesterday, but today I'm telling the truth, honest.
I remember that. Somebody else should use that. Maybe we'll talk about that on Friday.
Hey, look, I thought the greatest quote of boxing ever was "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble."
And now I'll tell you my all-time favorite quote.
Okay. Oh, go ahead with it.
All right, because it was said by a friend of mine.
Yeah.
If I was 50 years younger, I'd kick your ass.
Oh.
I remember that.
Who
said that? And who said that? And who did he say it to?
HBO. It was
Floyd.
He said that to Floyd. Exactly.
When people ask me what the best Floyd fight was, I always say Floyd against Merchant. Merchant kicked his ass.
Unbelievable. You dropped the mic.
And by the way, since we're talking about Floyd, his uncle is also in my movie.
Which one?
Roger.
Oh, okay. Wow. Is he? How is he doing?
Who was? He's doing okay. He trained Floyd for a while. He was a very good fighter himself.
Yeah, I understand that, but I said, how is he doing now? Because he's not doing well, from what I've heard.
No, he's not doing that well. The years haven't been kind to him.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
But nice guy.
Alan,
Yes.
Alan, you got to mention Larry. Did you also spend the fight with Jim?
Yeah, I've not, I've met Jim at Larry functions a bunch of times, but Larry lives down the block from me and is a close friend, and he's actually in 2 movies that I made. I also did a documentary years ago about baseball, and Larry started as a baseball writer, so he's in that as well. But we get together and hang out. Not too long ago, he and Bill Kaplan and I had lunch, and I remember when I was making the movie, I had to go to Vegas to see a fight and do a whole bunch of interviews, and that was one of the most enjoyable. That was the weekend where I didn't sleep at all. Larry knew I was coming, so he said, "Come early on Friday." So I had dinner with Larry and Freddie Roach and Dan Raphael and a couple of other people, and then Larry and I hung out after, and then I was going to go up to my room and catch a couple of a little bit of sleep. And as I was walking to the elevator, I heard, wait, Alan. And it was Bill Kaplan who pulled me into a place with him and Don Shargan and Lance Pugmire, who was at that point writing boxing for the LA Times, and a couple of other guys. And we threw we spent the whole night bullshitting and having a ball. And so I went up, showered, shaved, ate a little bit of breakfast, and then did a whole bunch of interviews. Had a great time. It was when I interviewed Canelo, when I interviewed Oscar, a couple of other people that day. Wore my camera crew out. Went and had dinner, the pre-fight dinner, and then went to the fight. And afterwards, Larry said, "Come on, let's go to the press conference," where it was when Victor Ortiz fought, and Larry and I were sitting at the press conference, hanging out with Bruce Trampler, and we all nearly fell over when somebody asked Victor a question, and he started answering, and he said, "Wait a second, that's an oxymoron." And Merchant elbowed Trampler and me and said, "You ever heard a fighter say oxymoron before?" And then, so same thing. Larry said, "Come on, I got to decompress. Let's go sit someplace." And we downed a couple of bottles of wine, and at that point I was bleary-eyed. And again, I started walking to the elevator to go to my room, when same thing, Bill Kaplan spotted me, and I wound up shooting the bull with him and Chardon the entire night. Went to a breakfast. Freddie Roach invited me to breakfast with his entourage. So I went to the breakfast, and then I drove to and from Vegas. On the way home from Vegas, I kept calling people. I said, you got to talk to me, otherwise I'm going to fall asleep at the wheel. I went 48 hours without a moment's sleep, but it was great. It was that was boxing heaven.
Do you have any other films in the making? Any thoughts?
Well, I'm not boxing. At this point, I'm doing a film called When Houston Had the Blues, which is there was an amazing music scene in Houston, the 3rd and 5th wards of Houston, that you'll never guess what. You want to take a guess what destroyed the great scene down there?
It must have been boxing.
Integration. The 3rd and 5th wards were black wards, and they had a guy named Don Roby who owned Duke and Peacock Records. So we had Big Mama Thornton and Gatemouth Brown and Bobby Blue Bland and the Blind Boys of Mississippi and some other great acts. He had a club.
K9 has no idea what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, we're gonna give an education in black culture, black music. Anyway, when people could move elsewhere, they did, and the ballroom and all the clubs died. And then the city of Houston put a freeway dividing the 3rd and 5th ward, so it was all over. But I'm doing a movie about that right now.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
So K9, you gotta go listen to Bobby Blue Bland and an album called Two Steps from the Blues.
Okay.
One of the greatest, maybe the greatest album ever recorded.
Wow. I mean, wow. Even better than Elvis
and
Presley.
Big Mama Thornton is.
Big Mama Thornton.
Review.
Big Mama
Yeah.
Thornton.
Big Mama Thornton. A lot of people think that Elvis did Hound Dog. He did a cover version. The original version was by Big Mama Thornton. And in it, she's talking about a guy who she says is behaving like a hound and banging somebody else. In Elvis's version, he's talking about a dog. Woof, woof, woof. Makes no sense.
Oh, wow.
Since we're talking music, you want the greatest line ever about Elvis?
Oh, this guy here.
All right. Ray Charles was a dear friend of mine, and he used to get me to do interviews where I had to answer as though I was Ray. He'd be sitting there giggling, and the reporters had to take it, and then Ray and I would have lunch. But the reporters had to take it because they couldn't go back to their editor and say, I turned it down because it was some white guy. They were getting what they needed. So one guy, was a little offended at first and then said, man, that was a great interview. Thank you. But he said, Ray, can I ask you one question off the record just for my own edification? And Ray said, all right, man, you got one. He said, what is it? The guy said, what'd you think of the King? And Ray said, who's the King? He said, why, Elvis, man. And Ray said, king of what? Motherfucker wasn't king of shit to me.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, Alan, Alan, you don't mind me asking, how old are you? You got a lot of knowledge. You've been around the block a few times.
150.
Oh, man. Hey, listen. You talk too fast, too good to be 150.
I'm up there with James. I'm up there with James.
Dang, James. Dang, James. He up there with you, bro. Hey, but you know what I got to say? Hey, listen. To be honest with you, though, James, you and James, boy, for y'all to, be up there a little bit in age, boy, y'all sharp than a mug. I want to be like y'all when I get older.
Anyway, I told James I would only steal a half hour of your time, K9, so I'll let you get on. But, do me a favor. If you have Amazon Prime, take a look at El Boxeo. If you don't have Amazon Prime, get your address to James. We'll get it to me, and I'll send you a DVD.
Oh, that sounds good. Now you hear that? You hear that, James? James be forgetting, man. And it's the sad part. He ain't never boxed ever in his life.
Hey, see.
Hey, James, man, get my copy, bro. Quit playing. Oh, I'm gonna be. We fight before September 6th.
I'll make sure that you get the necessary information now.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, look, it's great talking with you guys, and I hope we get to do it again. Kenan, where are you living now? You're in Detroit. So you're in Detroit now, huh?
Yeah. Southfield. I'd have moved up like the Jeffersons.
I'll tell you what. If you come out to California, make sure you reach out to James and to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, listen, California, my second home. California love. I don't know if you know about Pac. One of my favorite songs, right? Yeah, absolutely. Hey, do you have any social medias that you want to tell the people about, or where they can get your DVD at and all that?
Sure.
Oh, let the people know. Let the fans know. We got a lot of listeners. It ain't just us on the line.
Hey, you can get it on Amazon Prime. It's called El Boxeo. EL. Capital Boxeo, and anybody who's a fight fan, you'll see Oscar De La Hoya, you'll see Chavez Sr., you'll see the best of the guys from Puerto Rico, you'll see Sugar Ray Leonard, Aram, Suleiman, Jimmy Lennon Jr., Merchant, Bernstein, Lou DiBella, everybody, Bobby Chacon, all the great West Coast fighters, Armando Muniz, Canelo Alvarez, you'll see everybody. It's about how the sport moved from New York to the West Coast, to California and Vegas. It's about how, the sport became Latino dominated. Boom Boom Mancini, as I mentioned, is in it. It's really a who's who. Everybody but K9, because I didn't know him then.
Exactly. And listen, and look, and the thing about it is half the people that you name, or a little bit less than half, I done did business with. Sugar Ray Leonard on The Contender, reality show season 2 of The Contender. Lou DiBella.
Right.
Lou DiBella. We had actually my first fight at time I ever fought on Showtime was against this fighter. Me and Lou DiBella are real good friends. Whenever I go to the fights, he always give me a pass. I ain't never K9. Come on, front row and all that. So I know a lot of the people that you know.
Well, you get to the film. You got to let me know what you think of it after you see it.
Oh yeah, I will. Definitely. You know they say it's a small world. And you know Emmanuel Stewart was a good friend
All
of
right,
mine
well,
too. Yep.
reach out to me. Reach out to me when you're in LA because it'd be really nice to have a bite.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. You know what? My son will be fighting out there in LA real soon too. So I will definitely do that. I will get in touch with James, and then I'll find out where you at, and we'll have lunch or something.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, be well, guys. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
All right. God bless you. Thanks.
Thank you, Alan.
You too.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Well, K9.
Yeah.
I do know some people that, I might not know people, but I know somebody that knows some people that knows some people.
Hey, that's all that matters. Look, what goes around comes around. It's like what goes up comes down. Like they say, it's a small world, especially when you got the internet
Hello.
or Instagram.
Hello. I know it. Mr. Rodriguez. Hey, how you doing, sir? I'm doing fine.
Hey.
We just got finished with our last guest. K9 is in the building. What's going on, K9?
What's up, though?
Let me try to get Tyrese on the line. Hold on 1 second.
Hey,
Can I try to get him real quick?
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Hey, I like this sense of humor, man. He said yes, sir. Hey, young people nowadays they don't say hey, sir, yes, sir, and all that.
You see, Mr. Rodriguez, I think is about you and him are about the same age.
Okay.
But
he 24?
He
24?
He's 23, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
we're at the same age then. I'm 1 year older.
But we're actually bringing his fighter on as a follow up to a couple weeks ago, and this Mr. Rodriguez, why don't you do the introductions and tell us how you and Tyreek formed this bond. Oh, maybe he's not back yet. Okay, let me see. Technology. K9, I got it. I saw something just before we came on the air, and it says that. I think. Let me make sure that I'm saying this right. Okay, the IBF.
Yes.
Your organization.
Yes.
Is ordering Davidenko versus Golovkin.
Triple GZ. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
But didn't we just hear that Canelo and Davidenko were supposed to fight?
Absolutely.
Wasn't that what they said 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
So Davidenko must be a bad man. He's gonna fight Davidenko and Golovkin the same night.
No, let me tell you, you probably ain't been reading the news and what's been going on. Word on the streets.
I'm looking at it. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Word on the streets is this is what happened. So Golden Boy has a matchmaker by the last name of Diaz. He didn't reach out to the IBF in time, so they actually stripped Canelo his belt. So Canelo and his team are actually upset at Oscar De La Hoya because they got stripped from the IBF, and that's the reason why Derchenko, we'll say D, since I can't pronounce his name the way I would like to pronounce it, the right way. We'll say D and him and Triple G are up to fight for the belt now because of that. So you got a couple of people, big people that's mad at Golden Boy, which is Canelo, and actually Ryan. You know the little guy Ryan, the guy that got all the little followers that's following him, and Ryan Garcia. Yeah, he got a lot. Yeah, man, they mad at Oscar, man.
But here's the thing that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay, I can understand. Canelo being stripped of his title.
Yep. Well, I can't.
I can understand that.
Hey, well, hold on, James. Let me say.
Like,
Let me
like,
say,
like
James.
hold on. Like you always say, read the contract.
Absolutely.
Don't assume.
Absolutely.
Just cause your name Canelo,
Absolutely.
read the contract.
But
So,
now let me say this before you say that.
so
Hold on.
wait,
Go
hold it
ahead.
now.
No, go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
I can understand.
Go ahead.
I can understand the idea of
Go ahead.
ordering the title fight.
I got you.
But what's going to happen to the fight that Valentinko was supposed to have with Golovkin? He's going to make. I mean, with Canelo, he's supposed to make $7 million fighting Canelo. Is he going to make $7 million fighting Golovkin for the title?
No. Hashtag nope. Sorry. But this is my point, and you saying that, and me saying what I was gonna say is this right here. The IBF, that lets you know, to me, IBF is the best organization it is. They didn't care about who was the world champion. They said, Canelo, listen, you don't go by our rules. We stripping you. No, look at the WBC instead. WBC said, you know what, we gonna upgrade you. Remember that song Beyonce had, Upgrade? Right. They upgraded him into the super duper 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 trooper champion of the world. So now Charlo is the regular champion, which is the world champion. So that's like it's not a black and white thing to me. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the truth, man. And it's all about being honest and being fair. And IBF were the only ones in my whole career that was fair to me. They was the ones that gave me a shot, or I went out there and took care of my business, did what I had to do to become a world champion, to fight for that belt, or to become the number 2 IBF contender. And they are the realest. I mean, not just because I won a world title, but they just showing you right now. They stripped Canelo when Canelo got crazy, or Oscar De La Hoya and them got crazy. But the WBC said, no, please don't go. Please don't go. I wish I could say it in Spanish. But, hey, he's the super duper champ at the end of the day.
But we do have Mr. Rodriguez back on the line with this fighter. Mr. Rodriguez, are you there? Mr. King.
Mr. King.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
Is that LeBron?
How you doing, Mr. King?
LeBron.
Hey, but
King
Mr. Rodriguez, as I was saying, why don't you introduce your fighter to us and tell us, how you two decided to, how did you build this relationship with Tyreek?
Okay, my fighter name is Irby. He's an undefeated super lightweight champion, 7-0 with 2 knockouts. Been working with him now. They have 4th fight coming up. He's a amateur standout, and now undefeated professional. He's definitely he's a southpaw with a lot of style, good punching power, but he's a technical type of fighter. So he likes to dissect his opponents, outpoint him, and just get the W. He's on the line, Tyreek Irby. I would let you introduce himself to you guys and tell you a little bit about himself. Go ahead, Tyreek.
How you doing? I'm Tyreek Irby. That still basically sums up everything. I was a 2016 Olympic alternate. I was number 1 on the USA boxing team for probably about a year some change. I haven't been boxing long, but I caught on very fast and accomplished a lot. So I just turned pro. I felt as though I did a lot in the amateurs. I accomplished everything in the amateurs. Turned pro, and as of right now, I'm 7-0, 2 knockouts. I'm getting ready right now for my fight, August 31st, out in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay, now that's some good stuff. Now your trainer, he speaks real highly of you because he just said super lightweight champion. So you done won a title already, or he just claiming it. So I know I got 2 ears and I ain't got no wax in them. So I know I heard him say champion. Right. Well, that's good. Hey,
we claiming it.
Hey, that's good though. That's good though. Hey, once you get in that ring and you first throw one punch, you a champion to me anyway. Those guys that died in the ring, man, them guys are champion. I don't care about no belts, man. You a champion. You get in that ring. So you said you started boxing late, but you said you was an alternate for the Olympics or the gold. So I mean, that right there says a lot right
Yeah,
there. Yep, yep. So yeah. So
yeah.
who can you
Uh,
tell me some of the guys you fought that if we will know or recognize, or are they pro now, or are you chasing them in the pros right
well,
now?
in the pros,
Yeah.
in the Olympic trials, I fought Jerron Ennis. I fought Richard Hitchens. Um, I fought Jermaine Ortiz. I think that's his name, Jermaine Ortiz
Okay.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, them the only three guys I fought, and then I actually lost. I beat Richard Hitchens the first round,
Yeah.
and then I fought Jerron Ennis, and it was a close fight. But they get to Jerron Ennis, then I fought Jermaine Ortiz, and I know I felt as though I won. I know I did enough to win. You know, he thought that I won, but they ended up giving it to him. You know, so
Okay.
yeah,
So
that's that.
so how many amateur fights did you have before you turned pro, and how old are you right now? Are you a late bloomer?
Um, I'm 25. I started when I was 19, but I was able to get 68 wins and 8 losses. I traveled the world. Like I said, I won the WSB with only like 13 fights, and then I became #1 in the United States. And I started traveling, fighting some good competition overseas, and I actually beat the 2012 bronze medalist from the Olympic Games from Azerbaijan. I beat him in a WSB fight, and that
Also,
I knocked out the #1 guy from Argentina.
yeah. Hey, so you basically on on some Lomo type stuff. You can actually go out there maybe in one or two fights and fight for a world title. Hey,
Well, Lomachenko had a lot of amateur experience, a lot of semi-pro experience. You know, I mean, I wouldn't turn it down. You know, well,
yeah,
I know my coach. When I'm ready, he gonna let me fight for a title.
yeah,
When
cause you
I'm ready, he got me.
yeah, because I mean, I started boxing late too. I started boxing when I was 18, but I only had 10 amateur fights, so I had to wait a little while because I only had 10 amateur fights. I never was #1 or #2 or were in a position you were in. So you way ahead of schedule when it comes to me. So like you say, but your trainer he'll let you know when you're ready. But that money is out here, so it's so hard to pass up these opportunities when they come, though.
Yeah, but that's why I'm glad. I'm glad that my trainer is not in it for the money. You know, Nesto, he's not in it for the money. Like, we actually have a relationship outside of boxing. You know, he's more like a father figure than
Oh yeah,
anything. And you know, he just want to see me. Huh?
yeah. No, I'm listening. I'm listening. That's Ernesto again.
Yeah, Ernesto Rodriguez, your guy.
Oh man, listen. I just only heard him say. I
What's
only
up,
heard him say
Tank?
Rodriguez. You know, it's a 100,000 Rodriguez. I ain't hear him say Ernesto. Oh, Ernesto, my
Ernesto
guy. Oh yeah,
Rodriguez.
you with the right person then,
What's
brother.
up,
Trust
Tank?
me. You with the right guy. I'm right, my guy. I'm good, man. I appreciate you, man.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
look, you want to listen. You a real guy, man. You a real guy. If we had more trainers like
Yes,
you,
he is.
we had more trainers like you, man. These guys wouldn't be throwing money up in the air and at the clubs, man, and making these girls shake what your mama gave you, that kind of crazy stuff. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Money.
Tariq is definitely somebody. Tariq is definitely someone to be looking out for.
Yeah,
You know, he fights on the 31st.
Yeah.
Fights on the 31st up in Minneapolis on the Eric Landing on the card, and looking to display some good skills and come home with another W. And then after that, we're gonna be looking at them possibly moving up to eight rounders, and you know, just slow walking it, but at the same time picking good competitive fights that's
Yeah.
gonna help him develop throughout his career. And I think with the right team, with continuous fight on the PBC card, I think is the way we're going to continue to go. And Lord's will, you know, he can go ahead and continue to grow and blossom into a world champion within the near future.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now I fought at junior middleweight. So his weight class, what's the weight? What's the actual weight?
140.
Oh, 140. Oh, 140.
Like
That's
140. 5'10", southpaw, at 140 pounds.
Oh, he 5'10", 140, southpaw.
Yep.
Oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. 140, 5'10", southpaw. That's dangerous. My son is southpaw, so I already know. That's a different look. Everybody ain't seeing southpaws every day.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, that's good. Oh man, I always like your energy on the show, man. You real humble. You know, you make sure your fighters get all the attention they supposed to get, man, and you introduce them into some good people like like James and myself, and we thank you, man. And then once they become world champion, you bring them back to the show. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you for that, cause I mean, man, it's guys, man, that when I lost my title. Man, I called them guys. They wouldn't answer the phone no more. But I
Is
had
that
to.
right?
Oh man, but then I did so much for them. I mean, man, I helped the young man get his YouTube channel banging. Boy, when he saw I was in a YouTube game, boy, he stopped answering my phone. Hey, but it is what it is, though,
Yeah,
man. Hey, yeah. So,
yeah, yeah. Well, you're doing good, man. I'm just glad that Mr. King and yourself,
yeah,
y'all give us the opportunity to bring these young guys on and introduce them to America Nationwide, man, on live radio.
Absolutely.
Like I said, Tyreek Irby is definitely a name to be reckoned with.
Exactly. Hey, Tyreek. So what's your gimmick? Last thing I want to say, James, before you start deboing, man. You watch too much of these movies, man. What's that movie? Boys in the Hood quit being Debo, bro. Hey, Tyreek. Tyreek, last thing I want to say, man.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of gimmicks where people just gonna remember you? Are they gonna remember you of what you say? Are you gonna say, Coach, brush my hair? What you? I tell you, what is it
No,
gonna
you're
be?
not gonna say that.
What is it gonna be that's gonna make you
I mean,
stand out?
well, I'm a people's person regardless. I like to stand out, period. My style of fighting itself is just going to stand out.
Okay.
Me, I'm going to stand out. It's just not nothing in particular. It's just me first. Like, I'm going to stand out. My style of fighting going to stand out. My charisma.
Okay.
Everything I bring to the table is going to stand out.
Hey, wait, okay, cause now the microphone is on you, and they gonna say, okay, Tyreek, man, what a great fight, man. I mean, what you want to tell the people, and what you gonna say? Hey, what you want to tell the people? What you got to say?
First, I'm gonna say all glory to God. I wouldn't be here without God.
Okay.
And then every time I'm just gonna continue getting better and better. Every time they put an opponent in front of me, I'm gonna do my best to get them out of there and move up. Just keep moving on up.
Hey, so how do you feel about what Deontay Wilder said, man? I want a body on me. I want a body. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know he didn't really mean that, but that drew a lot of attention.
Yes.
That drew a lot of attention. Afterwards, yeah, go ahead.
Especially after these two deaths, I really think that he regret that. But I don't think he meant it literally. I think it was just a lot of animosity built up because
that's all
him and Brazil had previous. Yeah, and they had previous history, but Deontay Wilder was a good guy, and I know for a fact he didn't mean that literally. And then even after the fight, he still showed love to Brazil. So maybe it was just to hype the fight up itself.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. I'm just saying though. What I'm saying though is like it stood out because it kind of got people attention. A lot of it was the wrong way, but we know that what he was saying. So I'm just saying that when you knock this guy out, who you about to get ready to fight, say something that people can be able to clutch on to and be able to say, man, I want to see him again, man. I want to see him. I remember him. I always barked. I was because my boxing name was K9. Like, man, he barks so much, but he got a bark and a bite. He knocking these guys out with that overhand right. So just make sure you stand out. Keep doing you, bro. You got the right guy though, for real.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
All right, much love.
And my boxing name is IGB.
IGB.
My boxing name IGB, or even the juice. IGB stands for I get busy. And the juice is just self-explanatory, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, listen, the juice, I don't know, bro, because a lot of people been calling them all that juice, man. You don't know. You might leave that alone. Too many of these fighters juicing, man. Yeah, I don't know. You might have to explain that one. You got to explain that one.
I get busy.
I get busy, right. So you knock him out, man. He off that juice, bro.
But
off
I'm
that juice, he says. Hey James, he all yours, man. He on that juice, man. He on the juice with it.
Yeah.
I'm not fighting him.
You mentioned you mentioned that you're fighting in Minnesota. Now we know you have one fighter that's scheduled to fight a team certified fighter. Do you know who his opponent is? And have you guys? I know you met Ernie, but is his opponent also a team certified guy or somebody else?
No, it's a guy from I believe he's from Argentina. I don't recall his name. I think he has a record like 2-1-1 with 2 knockouts, something like that. He had about 4 or 5 fights or 6 fights. Not sure exactly. No, he had 2 wins. He had 1 loss, and I think he had 1 draw or 2 draws and 2 knockouts. Somewhere along that line. I can't recall exactly the record, but he's a tough fighter. He's very durable. He's a fighter that comes to fight. It's not never been stopped. Hasn't been beat up. But he's definitely a fighter that Tariq has to fight to win. It's not one of these fights you coming in, you hit him, and they fall out, and fight is over. I try my best not to pick those type of fighters. The amateurs, and now being 7-0 at the pro, it has it now prepares him to be able to step up in competition, especially after this fight coming up. We're going to be stepping him up. He's going to be 8-0, Rose winning after this fight in Minnesota, and we're going to be looking to step him up. I think that, this tough opponent that he's fighting on the 31st is definitely going to test him. He's very durable. So, I'm excited to see Tariq going in and pick up where he left off. His last fight, he fought a kid who, since he beat him, has beat 2 undefeated fighters and won a minor belt, some type of local belt. Before the kid, I was 10-0 his last fight, and before that, he fought another kid that was from overseas. And it shows that the type of opponent that he's faced. We're just looking to just keep on building, and I think he has a future ahead. I think we're with the right people, and we just gotta just keep working and just do our part. The opportunities that present themselves, all we gotta do is just take your eye in, and that's going in. Get the fans what they're looking for, a good performance, get the W, and move on to the next.
Now, Ernesto, I know this is not necessarily a reflection on you, but we've seen a lot of fighters, come to the scales lately, having to strip buck naked or, go in the sauna or whatever. When it comes to the weight, do you consider that your primary responsibilities, or do you think that that's the responsibility of the fighter, and you take care of the rest up until time for the weigh-in?
I think it's the responsibility of both. I've been on the end where my fighter didn't make weight once before, and it was very disappointing and embarrassing on my part because I did my part as a trainer for him to make the weight, but in between the night, he failed to do his part to maintain the discipline until the next day, and it cost him the game a pound because he ate after in the middle of the night after making weight at night. So we didn't make the weight by half a pound, and that's the only time that we have that me as a trainer I had a fighter that didn't make weight, and it was unprofessional, and it was something that I hope not to experience again, and I'm very adamant and boisterous in reference to making weight, and Tariq could tell you about that. I try to, it's not a championship fight, so we don't necessarily have to make the 140 pound limit. I usually try to if it's just a show, I may make the fight 142, 143 pounds. All depends on how much the opponent also how big he is. So, we just try to make it comfortable. So both fights can fight and get it on. But we know that when it's time for the 140 pound, we just once again maintain our professionalism and dedication to the sport and make weight. So it's a combination of both. It's a responsibility on both the fighter and the trainer. But both parties have to do their job and be disciplined about it. You can't go one without the other. Just like a fight. When you win, he wins. When you lose, you lose. But at the same time, the trainer can prepare a fighter to execute a game plan, and the fighter goes out there and do the total opposite. So it reflects bad on the fighter and the trainer. So I think it's a combination of both.
Well, before we let your fighter go, do you, Tyreek, do you have any? Tyrek, I'm sorry.
Tyrek.
Do you have any social?
Hey, listen. Hold on. Before you let him
say that one more time.
Hey, James. Before you let him go, that right there, that's his name right there, Tyrek. I Tyrek some stuff, bro. I like that. See, I like that. There you go. I know Clarissa Shields called herself T-Rex. You Tyrek. I Tyrek everything, homie. That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. I like that. There you go. Add something with that, man. That sounds good. But go ahead, James. I know James got something.
Tyrek, huh?
Yeah, you Tyrek. Yeah. Right. Yep. Tyrek, T-Rex, everything. Yeah.
Tyrek, give me social media. How to reach you.
Oh, my social media, you can follow me on Facebook at Irby, Tyrek, and you can follow me on Instagram at _juice.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I'll do Twitter.
And hold on, what about Ernestus? Ernestus, you got any social media?
Yeah, I'm at Changing Faces _2005, and I'm at on Changing Faces 2005 as well on Instagram and Facebook.
Absolutely. And Ernestus too, man. I want to talk to you. One day we'll get you on the show again and talk to you about other things that's going on behind closed doors. You know what I mean? And this is a touchy subject, and we'll talk about that some other time though. But I'll be hearing people talking.
Absolutely, man.
And I know that saying you are a good person, so I'm rolling with Ernestus Rodriguez.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. All y'all got to do is let me know. I'll be more than happy to come on the show. My character speaks for itself, man. I'm a man. If I say I'm going to do it, you can consider it done. Absolutely. I speak the truth, yeah. And sometimes people can't handle the truth. And when they can't handle the truth, they fold or they just go. Father, for me, yeah. I just stand on the word of God, man. The truth will set me free. That's right. God judges my heart. He knows where my heart is at. He knows what I'm about. Yeah. And my walk will tell my story. Absolutely. Without me having to say one word.
I feel
Amen.
Spiritually, that's right. Yep. I appreciate you, my guy. One love. Yep. Enjoy your night, man. Much love. Ernesto and Tyrek.
I definitely appreciate you guys having me on too.
No doubt, bro. Oh, Dawg pound, baby. Let's get it. Man, hey, man, handle that boy, man. Handle that boy.
You have a great night, Ernesto, and I'll be in touch soon.
Tyrek.
You Tyrek. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
But the chest.
It's Tyrek, bro. You talking about some Tyrek.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely. James, man, that's Tyrek, bro. It's Tyrek.
Well, hey, I know. That's why I had to look up. It's kind of natural to call him, Tyrese or something like that. Because Tyrek is rather unusual. Yeah. But K9, our next guest, is actually on the line, and they are the newest members of Team Certified.
Boy, Team Certified.
And
certified.
Right now, we're going to talk to the coach, Mr. Tashaun Brown, and his two young fighters,
Okay.
Michael Smith, and his other fighter. Well, here, let me get him on. Let me get him on the line here.
Okay. Smith.
Welcome, Coach Brown.
How you doing, sir?
Coach Brown, man. Everybody's saying sir though, man. That's the good stuff tonight, man. I like that. The world is changing in a good way.
Well, at least within the boxing community, we do have respect for one another.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, before we talk about your fighters, let's talk a little bit about you. How did you get into training? Was your background? Did you have an amateur background? Was it part of your neighborhood? Tell us a little bit about Mr. Tashaun Brown.
Well, I started competing in boxing when I was 7. I'm 30 now. I went through the amateurs. I had a couple pro fights in boxing. I've also did pro fights in MMA. My cousin is Carlos Williams. He fought Mike Tyson. So fighting is definitely big in my family.
Oh wow!
So we push that, and I'm big with the youth. So I found a way of basically helping them get out of an environment that I grew up in.
And where did you grow up?
I'm from New York, and then I moved from New York to Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, okay. You're from the city. I'm a Jersey boy, so I can imagine. You
okay.
Probably have some Jersey boys. I know how that goes. So how did you make that transition to Virginia and find a youth program where you fit in?
Well, what definitely made me start giving back to the youth, where how I found it was I left to go to college, and I went to college in Idaho. And when I went to college in Idaho, I started seeing that a lot of the inner city kids were getting sent away to schools, and basically they were either taken advantage of or not given the opportunities that they needed. And so I figured, with boxing, not only can I give back and I can help them, a lot of these kids are frustrated, so I'm giving them a way to release it.
Now, when was your amateur career? What did you ever have any inklings at going pro? Like you said, you had relatives that have been in the professional game, or were you always more directed toward the youth?
No, I went pro at 19. I fought pro. I did okay, but I was always more into giving back, more into helping. So I was more drug into that side of it. So it made it easier to stop fighting and go ahead and go into coaching.
Okay.
Now, as a coach, you were coaching some of the kids that were really close to your age. So how did you manage to get that type of peer respect?
I think it was easier because not only could I relate to them, they knew who I was, and even still to this day, I spar with a lot of my kids. I can get in there with them. I can talk to them. So it's I guess it's just more personal to them, where me at 30 is coaching them, and I talk like them. I look closer to them rather than a 60 or 70-year-old coach who is almost, it's like they're hearing an old story.
James.
Canine? We have two-time IBF world champion Canine Bundrage on the line, and I'm going to let him talk to you a little bit before you introduce your two fighters.
Yeah, hey,
okay.
Yeah, how you doing, Mr. Brown? So,
how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. So you said that you are kin to Carla True Williams?
Yes.
Oh, that's some good stuff, man. So it is your bloodline. I remember Carla True Williams. He had a real good jab. Kind of reminded me of Larry Holmes.
Yeah. He definitely had a strong jab. I think that he jumped out there when he tried to get in there with Tyson, but I mean, you don't get opportunities like that all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, you don't. And I'm quite sure you made some good money, and hopefully you invested that money for real. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
It was a different day though. I mean, Carter True Williams today, if he was fighting today, he would be world champion, man. Cause hey, look, the fighters, the heavyweights back then wasn't no joke, man. Every heavyweight could fight.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't just heavy hitters or they were complete fighters.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, yeah, yeah. You definitely got something to work with. You know what I mean? It's in your bloodline. Yep. I mean, some people when they got someone that's in their family that actually is a legend or a former world champion, they normally ride off that, and you really didn't do too much of that. It seemed like.
No, no, sir, no, sir. It wasn't allowed. It was you make your way or you don't make a way.
Okay. Okay. All right. I get you. I get you. Well, that's good. You're dealing with the youth though. You didn't take what you learned. Like you said, you was pro, right? You turned pro, right?
Yes, sir.
You turned pro, so you did do some boxing. So you didn't, and what I really can't say I hate, but I kind of hate that it's in your bloodline, and you get so upset at the sport that you just don't think about nobody but yourself. When it's a bunch of kids that want to box and don't understand that this is actually the hurt game, and you can actually be a mentor and help them with the discipline, even if they don't decide to become world champion, because everybody's not gonna be a world champion. But if you can be a champion in outside the ring, that's all that matters. If you can be a good citizen, because boxing does give you a lot of discipline.
100%.
Yep. So that's good, man. I'm glad you're still in the sport, man, and you giving the experience that you get to these kids.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And we have some pro guys over here also who are working with the kids too. I have one of my pro fighters is 18 and 5, and he's training with a lot of my top level amateurs. So they definitely have a lot of good pushes coming. It's a group thing. It's definitely not just me.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Hey, family that prays together stays together, or plays together. That's good. So you were team certified. So it seemed like team certified are becoming the next PBC, signing a whole bunch of fighters, man, and we got a bunch of trainers. It's just like we all over, we everywhere.
Yeah, Team Certified is definitely doing big things. A lot of people are going to be surprised at what they see coming up in the near future. We're getting the right fights. One of my pro guys, he just went to a split decision with Chad Dawson. So we're definitely coming in to take some titles.
Oh wow! Oh wow! I sparred Chad Dawson too. And do you know that Chad Dawson actually said that I was the hardest puncher he ever been with in his life? He said he haven't ever been hit by a heavyweight that hit as hard as me, and I felt good about that because we
Okay.
talking about Chad Dawson.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
my fighter dropped him in the 5th round,
Oh wow! I didn't know about
we
that.
was on our feet.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
he dropped him in the 5th round. It was an 8 round fight. He dropped him in the fifth. They fought just last month, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Wow, wow. Okay, well, hey, I listen. I wouldn't care if Chad Dawson was a former champion. He's still a champion and a great fighter. So for him to be able to do that, that says a whole lot about his character,
100%.
your character, and what you bringing to the table. At Team Certified, on the dog
Yes,
pound.
sir.
That's right, bro. Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown. How many fighters you got?
Right now I have about, let's say, 4 pros and maybe like 6 amateurs. I'm real picky with my amateurs. I don't pick them just because they're good. I like kids who have stories, who have a reason why they're fighting. The talent, I feel like we can bring that out of you. We look for those type of kids.
Okay. And where you based at? Where you from? And where you stay?
Out of Richmond, Virginia.
Oh yeah, I was just there. I was just there not too long ago. We fought there. Me and my son we were out there. Okay, that's good. I got family out there too. That's good. That's good. So what you like now? It's a good and it's a bad. I think with the 30 years age that you are, you 30 years old. So with you being 30, okay, they respect you and they look at you like that. But at the same time, when it's time to put your foot down, do they respect that?
Honestly, that's more okay. You can listen, or we can get in the ring, and I can kind of show you why you should listen to what I'm doing and what I'm saying.
Okay, so but what if it gets personal?
I wouldn't allow it to get that because it's still the age difference. And like I said, most of my kids have a story. So they know how I came up and I understand how they came up. So with every kid, some of the kids I can spar with and they'll get it. Some of the kids, I just got to pull them to the side. We might have to go on a 2-hour drive and come back. But every kid is different. So we kind of play the game depending on who I'm dealing with.
Okay, okay, all right. Sound like you got it. Sound like you got it, boss. Sound like you got it. That's good, cause 30 years old. That's young, boy. I didn't win my first world title till 37.
Okay.
So yeah, 30 years old. You know what I mean? But it depends. Depends on how you grew up. I mean, where you from, all that kind of stuff, man. It all depends. You know what I mean? So, but look, hey, look,
Definitely.
like I said, I take my hat off to you, man, because these young people, man, they need somebody bad. They need a male figure, not just no woman. Because a lot of these guys, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being a woman and having a woman in your life. But when it's a young man need a father figure or a father, a young male role model to actually look up to. Because other than that, man, he gonna be all over the place.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree, and that's definitely what we're providing out here, or and doing our best to continue to provide.
Absolutely. That one man, that one young man who shot up all them people, man, he ain't had no role model. He didn't have a good family base and nobody helping him out. He just was out here on his own. I mean, because if he had somebody that was guiding him the right way, if he'd have been a boxer, if he'd have been with Team Certified, hey man, it'd probably be a different story. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It's just sad that it had to happen like that. But we in a different day
Yeah.
and age, man. So you keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, Mr. Brown, man.
Uh, Now, tell us about 1913.
1913, the 19 stands for S and the 13 stands for M. It's self-made because I feel like all my fighters, they made themselves. Their stories, their commitment, it's them. So we've been pushing that, and we've been going to shows. We've been taking weekends. Me and my wife, we took in weekends and went to New York. We go all out of town to get good sparring. Well, like I said, everything with us is just giving back how to make the next group come up better than we came up.
That's good. That's great. I really love that. But we do have you do have a couple young fighters with you, right? That you like to introduce.
Yes, I have one of my up and coming amateurs who's looking to make his pro debut coming in around January. His name is Micah Smith. I can put him on right now, and you guys can definitely talk to him.
All right.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Mike,
Hello, Mike. How you doing?
how you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking.
Okay, okay.
Young man, I'm going to introduce you to two-time junior middleweight IBF champion, K9 Bundrage. Young man starting out in the ring, just getting ready to make his debut. K9, you like to talk to the young man for a few minutes before he get his stable made on?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Mikey, how you doing, man? How many amateur fights you had?
Well, I'm 5-0 as an amateur.
Okay, and so what made you to say, okay, I'm 5-0. I mean, can't nobody beat me. I'm ready to go pro. What made you decide to say, okay, I'm ready to go pro with only 5 amateur fights?
Well, the fact that I've been in the ring with nationally ranked amateurs, they've been on Team USA. They have the experience in the background. I've been in there with pros that sparred against big names in boxing, such as Devin Haney. I've sparred pros who even maybe haven't fought bigger names, but they're definitely their experience level and fighting wise, they're there.
What's your
And I've
weight?
held my own with them.
Yeah, okay. What's your weight class?
My weight class, 130.
130. Okay. How tall are you? And are you a southpaw or a right-hander?
I'm a right-hander, but I'm 5'10", 5'9.5", maybe 5'10".
Okay. Okay. So you out of Virginia too then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your style? What's your style? Are you like rock'em sock'em? Areola, or are you a boxer? Boxer puncher, Tommy Hearns, or can you do it all?
Yeah, I'm more of a boxer puncher, but I can definitely bang when it's that time. Like because no matter how long you last in the sport, a guy's gonna force you to fight sometimes. You just got to be able to hold your own. You got to be able to defend yourself, have great offense, and have a good boxing IQ in the ring.
Hey, so let me ask you: those 5 fights you had, Were there novice fights, or were they open class fights, or now they call them elite? Were they elite, or were they a novice?
I was I started off open. The first fight I've had was with an open fighter. They mistaked it, and ever since then I've been open.
Okay, okay, okay. How old are you?
But I'm 17, turning 18 next month. I mean, well, not next month, this month, next week. But
Oh,
I've been fighting for some time now. I've been fighting for about maybe 9 years, 7 years.
okay. So you started boxing at what age? Well, you was like what, 7?
I was around 10, 10, 11.
Oh, so you got a lot of experience. You just wasn't fighting a lot.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
Oh, okay. I get it. I get it now.
I've just been honing my skills over the years,
Oh,
trying to
so
get better every day. That's
yeah.
what we work towards.
So you say forget
This,
trying to
this
you said forget trying to go to Olympics. I'm gonna go ahead and go pro and shoot my shot right now. Was it the fact that you spar with these guys and you was holding your own? You said I'm ready to go pro now. I mean, because at five fights and you boxed when you was 10 years old, it seemed like you could have got some national tournaments and all kind of stuff. You could have won some nationals. But I mean, if you going pro, go pro. Do what you do. You know what I mean? I take my head off to you.
yeah. I guess I have to say I have a family that really needs me. Like I have a brother who has a daughter, not really doing too well for himself. Mother has overdue bills. What I'm saying that she got to pay for. Pops not doing too well. I just got a lot of motivation behind me. Like I feel like I'm full of fire right now. Like everything that my family's gone through, everything that I've been through, it feel like I have to. I feel like I have the experience, I have the skills, I got the talent. The work ethic is there. We're just getting better every day. Like this is my passion. This is what I live for. Like
Okay, so do
this
you
is the only thing I have.
do you know who you fighting August the 31st?
I do not.
No, he, he's K9. They
That was
were saying that every guy had a story. So I'm assuming, Mike, this sounds like part of your story, and like you said, your motivation, and you'll be joining another gentleman, T1 Keys. He only had 2 amateur fights before he turned pro, and K9, you had less than double digits. So, motivation, I can tell you about my motivations, but I took them down the wrong path. So we won't talk about that.
yeah, yeah.
But anyway, but anyway, when you see a young man with that type of dedication and willing to make that sacrifice for his family, I think it says tremendous amounts about his character.
Oh yeah,
So I
hey.
look forward to seeing him in the ring. Tashaun, do you have your other fighter on the line?
No, Tyus Thomas, he couldn't make it today. He's another one of our. He's actually one of our standout amateurs. He's 20-4 right now as an amateur. He just did. He went like 8 rounds with Quentin, who has 21, 22 pro fights, and they were going toe to toe. And like I said, Quentin dropped Chad Dawson, but he broke his knuckles, so he's in the hospital right now. So the next time we're on here, he'll definitely be here.
Okay.
All right.
And so where's the fighter that you said that had 2 amateur fights?
No, that was
Keyshawn. That's not my guy. That's a team certified guy.
No, that's Keyshawn, the guy, the other guy that at part. Another team certified guy. He's been on the show before, but I was just saying, the difference, that some of these guys that have had less than a stellar amateur career have turned out to be very good professional fighters.
I know that. I'm one of them guys, my man. Yeah, that's right.
I think I called your name first.
Yeah, absolutely. So all things are possible with God. That's true. So young man, you 5 fights, you can do it, bro. And then you got something on your back, as far as your family. But just whatever you do though, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Take that deep breath, inhale, exhale, and do it. Do it for you too though. Don't just do it for your family. Do it for you. Do it for you and your
Oh
family.
yeah, most definitely.
And for
Most definitely.
and for the kids that will be looking up to you when you do it, to be able to tell them I only had 5 amateur fights. Like I tell kids, I only had 10 amateur fights and won 2 world titles. So it definitely can be done. You just gotta make sure you keep listening, keep learning, and you pray for your trainer too, as well as your trainer can pray for you. And y'all gotta have a good communication and get and good understanding too.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Yep, absolutely, and it can happen. Yep, absolutely.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it just I have a real big motivation. Like I stay with my coach. This is like I feel like I have everything to gain. I can't lose nothing. People say I have my whole life ahead of me, but sometimes I feel like I can only gain. Like I don't have nothing to lose with this boxing thing. So that's why I'd rather just give it my all. Like I'm
Yeah,
not scared of the outcome. I'm not scared of what can happen.
yeah,
As long as my family's straight and my niece can eat, my all my nephews can eat, my brothers. Like I have a brother who I used to look up to. He's probably around 26, 27 now. I look at where he used to be and I look at him now, and it just changed my whole demeanor. Like my brother, he used to be a he graduated high school at 16,
wow, wow.
and I seen him. I seen him a few years later. He used to tell me he'll never be broke. He got this clothing design. He got this, that, and I seen him a few years later. He got diagnosed with schizophrenia. He got diabetes. He lost his whole mind. Like, and I used to look up to him. So life is just like I look at it like it's a gamble. Like it's a toss up. You can choose what you want to do, and this is what I'm choosing to do.
Well, you know what?
I, I don't, I don't, I don't want to waste my.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for you, man. You one thing you want to do, man, is for sure is not just be physically strong. You want to be spiritually strong, not just mentally strong. Because you mentally strong, you physically strong, but now you got to make sure you get real connected with God, because that's what's gonna be your breakthrough. I was physically strong as I don't know what. I used to do 1,000 push-ups every single day, and I try to get it the physical way. But at the same time, I was worldly, so I wasn't getting it because I was too worldly. And if I would have got it, I would have gave back to the world. But when I got closer to God, I got it, and I put God first, and I took care of my family. And now I don't really got that many friends because they all in the world. So that's what's gonna be your breakthrough.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, yep. And to this day, James, you hear me? I'm I'm all right. I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to
Well,
be a guy that make it and get it, and then afterwards you end up losing it all. I mean, you just told us a story about your brother, so you want to make sure you
yeah,
connected with God, so when you do get it, you keep it, and take as
most
less
definitely.
punishment, and your trainer gonna make sure that in the gym is possible, in the fight is possible. Because you got a lot of these guys going into these fights, man. They got too many punches they taking because they so hungry like you. I'll spar anybody. I'll fight anybody. No, you gotta spar people that's gonna help you go to the next level. All that old trying to show you strong and you tough, because guys will use you up. They'll know you a good fighter and you got a lot of heart. They'll pay you a couple dollars. You will take it because you can help your family. But then at the end of the day, you'll be getting used all the way up. So when it's time for you to make the big money, you done took the little money over the big money, not even knowing it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Oh yeah. So a young brother like me, man, like, I won 2 world titles, and trust me, I learned a whole lot on my way getting it and losing it. So I got a game full of knowledge, man. And you team certified. I'm team certified. And the dog pound, we got your back, man. You ever need any advice? James can give you my number. You know what I'm saying? Y'all stay in touch, because we fam over here.
Most definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and I want to echo that sentiment. As someone that took my talent to the other side, I can tell you about the pitfalls. I know you don't want old man preaching, so I don't preach.
but I can tell you what
Preach! Preach!
I can tell you. I can tell you what it cost me, and I can tell you. I always say I've done a lot of things that I regret, but I've never done anything that I was ashamed of. Big difference. Anyway, you gentlemen are always welcome on the Dog Pound. Tashaun, I'll probably call you a couple times and get you on our Sunday show with John Scully and our heavyweight champ, Langland's Brewster. So you'll definitely have another call from me. Do you, well, both of you, why don't you tell us where they can find you on social media and any final thoughts you have? Why don't we start with Micah, and then Tashaun, you can give us yours.
Thank you for everything. I just want to first say thank you to my coach, manager, Team Certified Sports for giving me this opportunity to be on air with you guys. I really appreciate it. And you guys can find me on social media under 1913th _ the movement on Instagram. I'm not really a big social media fan.
That's always good.
Okay. Hey. Well, hey, man, like I said, hopefully we'll be talking to you before you make your pro debut, and we'll be keeping in touch. You're my good Team Certified now. You have a great night.
Yep.
Thank you. Coach Brown.
Yes, sir.
Coach Brown, good to have you on the show for the very first time. Glad to see that you're doing such a great work down there in North Carolina. So, any questions you have for the champ before you give us your final thoughts and tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
I don't have any questions right now for the champ, but definitely, I definitely plan on getting in touch with, because I can always learn, and there's a lot of techniques that he definitely can help me, and things that I don't know. I'm always learning, so I can always teach the kids. They can find the same thing, 1913 _ the movement, and we appreciate Team Certified, not only just for the opportunity for these kids to fight and my pro fighters to fight, but just for the platform.
No problem, sir. You have a great night, and we look forward to having you back on the show. Like I said, I'll be in touch.
All right,
I appreciate it. You have a good day.
You too, Mr. Brown. Good night, brother. Yeah.
Well, K9, I like having these young fighters on the show, man. It gives a lot of great pleasure to speak to you. A two-time world champion, and that's what our show is all about.
Absolutely.
Exposing these young fighters to an audience, giving them a platform, and just the experience of being able to give an interview. I mean, there's so many fighters out there that don't have that expertise to give a proper interview.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yeah, you right. Yep, you right. Give them a chance to talk. Yeah, and get ready. Get used to the microphone being in their mouth, and knowing how to turn it down a little bit, tune it down, and speak properly, and voice their opinion on how they feel and what's on their mind.
Yeah. But speaking of voicing their opinion and what's on their mind, it's time for K9's Corner, man. So what's up?
Man, at K9's Corner, I'm about to get ready to fight September the 6th in New Orleans, right? So, y'all come out, man, for all the listeners and the people that's tuning in. Y'all come on out and support your boy in New Orleans, September the 6th. It's actually the weekend that Lil Wayne actually does something every summer where I forgot what my cousin said it was, but he be actually doing a little, getting together or rapping or something. So it's going to be big. And the actually guys that's doing a PR for that is actually doing a PR for actually my fight. So it'll be for a belt. It's September the 6th in New Orleans. And what I want to talk about on K9's Corner is losing weight. And boy, oh boy, I'm losing weight and I'm feeling it. You know what I mean? And you can never get used to losing weight. When you're losing weight, you know what I mean? You can never get used to it. When I lose weight, I'm a little grouchy. I'm not the same person. You know, I'm a little, a little evil here and there. You know, when at home, other people that they wouldn't even know I'm losing weight. You know what I mean? Because I'm the same person. But at home, it's like I'm a little grouchy because I can't eat. They walking around the house with cheeseburgers, and I'm looking like, man. I mean, can you imagine how good water tastes when you're losing weight? So, being a boxer, man, and have to come down in weight, heavyweights don't have to experience that. So they good. But being a welterweight, junior middleweight, and you walking around 10, 20 pounds overweight, and you have to get down in weight, oh, man. Errol Spence can tell you, like I'm telling you, it ain't no joke losing that weight. But he has a lot to actually train for when you're a world champion, you making millions of dollars. But the millions of dollar days where I was making, they're not there right at this point in time. So the motivation to lose weight and get ready for these fights is not the same, and especially as you get older. So at K9's Corner, I'm telling you to stay in shape, stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. Dog pound. Yeah. That's what I got on K9's Corner, man. And you can follow me at K9 Boxing on all social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and I got my own website. It's k9-boxing.com if you're trying to get that good K9 gear. So anything you want to talk about, James, before you give them your final thoughts and your your social media?
Well, one thing I want to talk about before I talk about what I want to talk about. How's our heavyweight progressing since heavyweights are in the news right now, and I know you guys are thinking about what December or January possibly debut.
Yeah,
A-Rod.
absolutely.
So, what's happening?
Yeah, A-Rod, you know what? I'm glad you said something. Yesterday he went and got his federal ID, so he's actually a professional fighter right now. I'm talking about he went pro. Because you're not pro, you can say you're going pro and about to be pro until you go actually get your license. So he got his license yesterday, so he's actually ready. So we'll be looking to get back in the ring. We was going to get back in the ring September the 6th, but that's a little too soon. I want to spend more time with him because I'm training him now. So he's 6'5". He's a Mexican, big boy. I mean, look diesel. Kind of remind you of Anthony Joshua, but he's at 6'5", but he's a Mexican. So we look to get in the ring. For sure. And we'll say a couple months from now. We'll say September, October. We'll say before the end of the year at least a couple of times. If we got to go to Mexico, we're going to Mexico. Well, we got to go to get these fights. We gonna go get him, man. And I look for him to make a lot of noise next summer, next fall, because we're gonna be fighting like every other month if we can. And shout out.
All right, well.
Hey, can I give a few shout outs? Shout out to Lil K now, who will be fighting this weekend on a Pro-Am show. So he'll be fighting a Pro-Am show they having here in Detroit. Hands on at Jonathan Banks gym called Hands On Jimmy Paul. In case they trying to get any tickets, they got tickets at Hands On Jimmy Paul's old gym, ran by Jonathan Banks, who's training Triple G. So I just want y'all to know if y'all want to get some tickets, y'all can get them there. So yeah, Lil K now will be doing business. He's got a rematch with a fighter he beat for the belt a couple of months ago. So he wants his revenge, and we ain't getting him nothing. It's over with. Gang, K9 in the building. Lil K9 in the building. Actually, he's big K9. And shout out to my homeboy Mac, man. Helped me get ready, motivated me, man. Giving me that good work. We be sparring 20, 30 minutes straight. You know what I mean? While these guys talking about some 4-minute rounds, we going 30 minutes, 20 minutes straight. Yeah, 700-yard sprints. Okay, all right. 7, 8, 9, 10 miles. All right. At 46, get at me, because that's the new 24. On the Dog Pound at K9 Boxing on the Pugilist Corner with my dog James. And shout out to Annette too, and Marina, and Shawana Bundrage, the Queen Bee in the building. I ain't trying to sleep on the couch.
Yeah, well, you keep talking about being crazy, getting coming over after you turn. Right.
Yeah.
It won't be the fact that you forgot.
Yeah,
the fact
absolutely.
That you got to keep your mouth shut.
That's right.
Hey,
Yeah. cousin listening in too, man. I got cousin too. My cousin from Milwaukee listening in too. So shout out to my cousin too. And he made a cold song for me too, man. I got to come out to one of his songs. He be listening. You know what I'm saying? So I got cousins listening to me, man. We got people everywhere listening. From Atlanta, Detroit. That's why my promotion was called K9 Boxing Global Promotions, because we all over. We everywhere. I fought in UK, Germany. You know, we do big things everywhere. And where you at? California? So we all over, man. You know, it's just us.
Hey, California, England.
Absolutely.
They say we got a lot of places in Germany, as well as Australia.
Yeah.
So
we appreciate it.
We're constantly expanding.
Exactly. We appreciate everybody.
Also, remember, we do have a campaign on called "We Belong on the Air."
Yeah.
Go to the GoFundMe page, and you can help us any small ways. You know, the price of a Starbucks cup of coffee. You know, maybe you know, one less cheeseburger at McDonald's. You know, give that cheeseburger for K9's sake. You know, yeah, cheeseburgers for K9.
Hey, no, I'm losing weight, man. You working with the enemy. I'm losing weight. I can't be eating that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So all the McDonald's that you just go eat, send it to the pugilist corner. We'll take them $4.99s, them $2.99s. Hey, whatever you can donate, whatever is possible.
Absolutely.
So cheeseburgers for K9, our new slogan.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, on the serious side, yeah, we do have a GoFundMe page called "We Belong on the Air." We would like, you know, any donations are grateful, and we just are so grateful for our audience, our affiliations with K9 Team Certified, and you know, we just we love what we do, and you know, we don't want our platform to be tampered with, or you know, we just want to have fun. We want to talk about boxing. We want to deliver information that instill. You know, hey, you know, we broach subjects probably that may not or may not be politically correct, because we all bow to a higher power.
Absolutely.
And when you talk about boxing, and you know, you're just a second away from, you know, that last punch. So a lot of us, you know, we talk about things like that, as well as you said, the discipline that it takes to be a fighter, as well as the character it takes to be successful. So I'm not going to preach anymore, but you can find me on the Pugilist Corner on Facebook, the West Coast Steeler Fan on Instagram, and we just thank our audience, thank K9, thank Team Certified, and everyone that's affiliated with our program. So
absolutely.
You have a great night, everyone. We look forward to having another great program for you next week, right here on the Dawg Pound with K9 Bundrage. Have a great night. See you next week.
Irby! Omni!
Remember that couch.
Appreciate it. Everybody that tuned in tonight, man, I thank you so much. It's your boy K9. And you know, we live. We gonna try to do this every Tuesday. Or should I say we gonna do this every Tuesday? Get busy. Talk about the great sport of boxing. Very important that for us to, one thing I can say about boxing is like it's a family. You know what I mean? It's close to religion as anything. Christians. You know what I mean? It's all about being a Christian for sure. That's number one. But then outside of being a Christian, of course, other than your family, the boxing family, man, we stick together. We be in the gym. What goes on in the gym stays in the gym. So we try to knock each other out. Then afterwards, man, it's all love. So, that's the good thing, and that's what I love about boxing, man. We see each other, it's all love. What up, K9? Oh, what up, Cole? Oh, what up, hey. What up, Tone? What up? To all the fighters, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all respect and all love, and that's what I appreciate about boxing, man. To this day. Absolutely. So, yeah, everybody that tuned in tonight, man. Rob, Weedy, Robert, yeah. Rampage, Jerome Beckham. My man Alex. Hey, what's up, though? Lex, you all right, Lex? Clinton. My Adidas. Adidas. What up, Adidas? When I see you in the gym, boy, I'm giving you that work. Joaquin, what's up, fam? And Floyd don't want that work for Shizzle or Canelo. None of them boys. They ran from me for a long time. Tails up under. Absolutely. Stanley Brown. Detroit, stand up. Absolutely. Princess. Earl, what up, Earl? Earl, what's happening? Hey, Terrell T, what's up, T, man? That's my guy, man, T. Good work. Cyrus, what's up, Cyrus, boy? What's up, boy? Huh? I used to get that man that work on that court. Yeah. EJ. What's up, Roy? Rory, T. Brory. Boy. Yeah, you put all these work. You put this all together. Yep. All right. Hey, Jay. All right. Yep. Oh, what's up, Restless? What's up, though, man? Rusty. Rusty, where you at, man? Hit me up. Yeah, much love, man. Until next time. It's your boy K9. Good night. Have a good night, man. And make sure y'all say y'all prayers.